שלום, היום אנחנו מדברים על עברית. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say hello. Today we're going to talk about the Hebrew language. I think you'll enjoy it. Stay tuned. So anywhere I travel in the world, I like to learn a few words of the local culture. I find it fun, something I enjoy doing. I find it's very meaningful to those who are from that culture when I try to use their language. Sometimes they laugh at me, but only in the nicest way. I've never felt like I was being ridiculed. Usually people try to help me and say it more properly, and I just find it creates kind of a bond with people who are locals in various parts of the world. So you're traveling to Israel, and that being the case, I thought I'd teach you a few words that you might find very helpful. Now, pause and just tell you, you will probably be nowhere in all of Israel where you cannot find anybody who can speak English. It would be very unusual. I've only been to a few places myself, and I was okay with that, but you, I know, probably wouldn't be. And so don't worry about that. We'll take care of you, and if you come to places where you need someone to help you, we'll do that. But for fun, if you'd like to learn some Hebrew, I'm going to give you about 10 words today that I think you'll find interesting. I'm going to put those words above my head so that you can see them as I say them. I'm also going to give you a list of them in this email that you'll receive, and also in the comments below this video. You'll see that list, and you'll see that it's written in both English transliterated and also in the Hebrew language for those of you who are learning to read Hebrew. So one other thing I thought maybe I'd share with you is that each day when we're in Israel, I'm going to teach you a Hebrew word on the bus in the morning. That Hebrew word will help you kind of find the thread of the things we're learning through the day. And you don't have to remember them. There'll be no test at the end. But it's just a fun way to connect Hebrew with what we're learning. Now, 10 words that you might find helpful, and we'll start with the greeting words. And these are very easy. For instance, you know the first one, shalom. Shalom is hello. It's also goodbye. And so you can start and end a conversation with it. When you greet someone on the street, shalom is just fine. Now, in the mornings, if you'd like to use something beside that, you can use two words. They are boker, tov. Boker, tov. Boker is morning, tov is good. So you've learned a useful word there. Tov is good, and you can use it in many places. When somebody asks you about the food, you could say tov. But boker tov is good morning. And those of you who want extra credit, if you want to say good evening when you come to dinner, it would simply be erev tov. E-R-E-V, tov. Good evening, or evening good as we might understand it. Okay, let's move on to some maybe polite words. One of the things you'll use most often when you're in Israel would be the word thank you, which is simply Todah. Now, emphasize the second syllable. In fact, there's a good rule of thumb for all Israel words. In Hebrew, you normally would accent the second syllable. So, Todah, thank you. Another word would be you're welcome. Now, you're welcome and please are the same word. I know that seems unusual to you, but you're welcome or please would be the word bevakashah. Bevakashah. That's a harder one, I understand. You don't have to learn it, but if you'd like to be able to say please, bevakashah. A third word that you might enjoy just for good manners is the word excuse me. Now, you won't hear it much in Israel, unfortunately. In most Middle Eastern countries, it's unfortunately not said very often, but when you say it, people seem to appreciate the fact that you want to let them know that you'd like to come through. And so the word slichah. Slichah is the word excuse me. Slichah. Now, we'll move to some real basic words. For instance, yes is ken. Maybe like our English word or name, Ken, K-E-N. Spelled a little differently maybe if you transliterate it from the Hebrew, but if you can remember it that way, that's fine. Ken. And the word for no is simply lo, L-O. So no, lo. Ken, yes. Lo, no. If you want to ask somebody while you're shopping, how much is it? Now understand, when you ask them that in Hebrew, they're going to respond to you in Hebrew, so you may not understand their response. But if you want to be able to say how much is it, you might say kama or kamazeh. Kamazeh would be how much is it? Kamazeh or kama. How much? A question you'll probably find yourself asking multiple times while you're in Israel is, where's the bathroom? Now, in Israel, WC, as it is in the United Kingdom, is kind of the euphemism for bathroom or toilet, just WC, water closet, right? But if you want to use the Hebrew word, you might look to someone and say, sheruteem, sheruteem, and that's simply the toilet. Can you point me to the facilities? And that's all you need to say. You don't even have to ask them where. They know what you want. Sheruteem, and they'll point you to the right direction. A couple last words would be the word maim, which is water. Multiple times in Israel you'll be asking for water. In fact, I hope you're going to drink lots of water in that very arid climate. You need it. But if you want to say water, it's just simply maim, maim. And then a bonus word. I'll give you an 11th word. If somebody would ask you something in Hebrew and you don't understand them, you might say Anglit, Anglit. And Anglit is simply English. If the person knows English, they will immediately move from Hebrew into English and you'll communicate just fine. If they don't, then they'll shake their heads and move on. But Anglit is the way to say, do you speak English? Well, there you go. 10 words and a bonus word, plus you're going to learn a word each day while you're in Israel. You don't have to learn these. These are just for fun. So watch this several times, take the list, practice with it, and I think it'll make your trip even more enjoyable. Shalom.